Hi, I'm Stacia. This is Wayne.
This is our Cruise Cabana. Welcome.
Come on in. Let's chat.
So we're going to talk a lot about cruising and our new cruise channel. This is our new cruise channel. We've been talking about doing it for a really long time because we cruise a lot. We have like 30 years of cruise experience. Like, whoa.
We did our first one on our honeymoon in the 90s. That ship no longer sails, but we've had a lot of great trips in 30 plus years of cruising.
Yeah, the SS Norway, 1997, July. It was a Western Caribbean cruise, and I'll never forget it. You never forget your first cruise, but cruising has changed like so much in that time, in that 30 years, right? It's like grown like something like 60%. So our experience of cruising is like unique because YouTube only started in like 2005, so we were cruising long before YouTube was even a thing.
You should see some of the old videos. They're pretty cool.
Size totally matters. Ruby. Like that in
A little bit.
Oh, Britannia, Britannia rules the waves.
So we're gonna bring those out and show those to you, and that'll be fun because it'll be like the history of modern cruising and how it's grown, and it's projected to grow another 20 or 30%, by the 2030s. So, a lot's changed, and we're gonna talk a lot about that.
And as cruising changes, we want to be able to help guide you on what we know about how to value a cruise, how to get the best out of not only your cabin, but the actual vibe of the ship and the decor of the ship. Each brand of cruise line is known for something a little bit different, and it's wonderful. You can find a different feel for whatever mood you're in. Sometimes you want to spend time with the kids and you want to be in the water parks and going down the slides. Other times you want to be having a craft cocktail, in a very elegant bar while you've got your tuxedo on.
And I, speaking of that, have a degree in mixology, which makes me an expert. So
Too much of an expert.
so I could be a charlatan, but we'll find out. So, but also our combined experience. I was a waiter in a lot of fine dining establishments in Manhattan for many years. So I bring that to the table. I have like a unique insider industry perspective on fine dining and service, what fine dining actually is. So we're going to try to bring that value to you. There's something like 400 cruise channels out there, and we don't want to be just another one. We think we're bringing something unique to the table, and we're excited about this channel. We've been doing it for a long time. Your experience?
Well, to go back to Wayne's experience, you actually are in the design world. So every time we go on a ship, he's checking out the architecture, the decor, the fabrics. He's been known to turn a chair over to see if it's a Herman Miller. Wayne is checking Ian's chairs.
Not to name names.
Yes, it's like he's been known to turn a chair over to see who the designer is. He's got a very unique perspective of public spaces as well as hotellery, goods and services. When I met Wayne, I was working for TWA as an international flight attendant. I was based in Paris for a while. I have traveled the world through the airlines. My perspective is I know how to do a city in a quick amount of time. I don't necessarily want to go somewhere for a whole week. I tend to get a little bit bored. So I like how cruising, you get to unpack one time and go hit a bunch of places that we've been back to. We get to do our favorites and our greatest hits and get a feel for a different culture.
So the experience we're bringing to the table is unique, we think. One of the premier top travel companies in the world, in Transworld Airlines. I work for one of the top interior design companies. And so we bring that unique perspective. We bring added value to you. But mostly we're just addicted to cruising. Mm-hmm. We love it. It's not for everybody, but it's for us. And if you're watching this, chances are it's for you. And we've got a lot of footage already in the can that we're going to roll out. So,
We live in Florida now. We moved down from New York City to Florida so that we could cruise a little more conveniently. So all of our cruises, except for one, they have embarked from Florida ports. So we had one from New Orleans, and everything else is from Florida. So from our perspective, since we live in Florida, we'd like to be able to tell you too a little bit about the departure ports, hotels the night before. We drive in the night before so that we can hit the seas in a nice, comfortable, relaxed manner.
Starfish Island, that's the Versetti mansion right there.
Seriously? That one or that one? That yacht in front of it.
And we'd love to show you a little bit about how to start the cruise off right as well as jumping on board.
A lot of tips, the industry has changed a lot. We've seen a lot of that change. We've sailed through a lot of that change. A lot of it's for the better. Mostly it's just grown. It has exploded. And what's available to you is, much more extensive than it used to be.
It's, there's over 400 cruise channels. There are over 400 cruise channels, and I've watched a lot of them. I tend to use the cruise videos on YouTube and some of the shorts on Instagram to really vet out a room or a location of a cabin before I book it. I'm looking for certain details as well as just the general vibe. Some of the specialty restaurants, whether or not I want to book those ahead of time. But I've appreciated a lot of the videos out there. We just want to be able to add our voice, which is unique.
The other thing that we're bringing to the table, I think, which is a little bit different, is we've come up with our own scheme, our own way of rating our cruises. We put a lot of thought into this. We've come up with kind of a scientific method for how to do this, which we'll get into and we'll explain, but we think it really makes a lot of sense. It takes a lot of what we've talked about into consideration with the service, insider knowledge that we bring to the table, things that we're looking for. We have a little bit finer eye, we think, for some of these details. And so rather than just 4 out of 5 type rating, which is usually just based on someone's personal experience and their opinion, we're going to break it down into the specifics in a way that is logical and, again, very scientific, very logical. And I think I'm excited to see it put into practice, and we're going to do it in kind of a fun way.
We wanted to try to figure out how we could keep track of the cruise lines that are the top of our list and sort of why they felt that way. So we figured it out by category, and we are going to take a scientific journey. The
scientific method. We're going to get mad sciencey about it.
Yes, exactly. Because we like to enjoy it when we're there.
Spoiler alert.
So we will bring our next review to you. The last cruise that we took was Celebrity. It was on the Ascent.
The Ascent.
And we were in the Retreat. So we've graduated up to a lot of the ship within a ship cruises the last few years, and we'll tell you what we think.
Four cruises we took this past year. It's coming up here in New Year's here. 2024 is almost in the can, and we realized looking at the calendar that we've taken 4 cruises this year, which is wow. For working stiffs, that's pretty good. And so we want to kind of download some of that, talk about that. We did the Ascent, we just came off of that. Before that, we were on the Beyond, so we have a really kind of unique perspective. Those will be our first couple videos. We're going to compare those 2 ships and the different packages and experiences that we did.
And the interesting thing about when we booked our cruises over the last 30 years is the majority of our cruises are on the newer ship. Most of our ships have been in service maybe a year when we've jumped on them. We don't tend to like the older ones as much, or maybe not that we don't like them as much. It's that we want to see the new changes that cruising has got in store.
Depends on the vessel, but...
And the price, the value. Some of the older ships are just as good as the new ones, and you can jump on those for half cost.
So, we're definitely going to compare the Beyond to the Ascent. We also are going to be talking about MSC a lot in the next couple of videos. We just booked another cruise. And so we're going to kind of compare and contrast some of those different products, different packages, different ways to approach it, hopefully in a way that's helpful to you, that fits your style of travel and your budget.
And we actually have 3 cruises booked for next year.
3.
And we'll probably throw some more in there, but for now we've got a trip to Colorado we're going to take, and there's no cruising in Colorado. So
Not yet, but they're
not
working
yet.
on it. Yeah.
But our Colorado family comes with us on the cruises. That's one thing too that we want to be able to sort of vet out, is certain cruises would be more convenient for a family to go on. Other ones are more romantic for a couple to go on. And we want to be able to share those insights with you, so that if you've got a big group, which cruise lines sort of look better, feel better for that, can accommodate larger groups versus smaller, intimate groups. And which ones are kid-friendly versus adult-friendly. And yeah.
Cruising has just become our thing. It's just what we've landed on in life. It's our style of travel. We love it. And in the off season, when we're not aboard ship, we like to talk about it, think about it. We've got a lot of footage, and so really I think this is kind of an outlet for us as much as it is a valuable thing for you all.
And we pay for all of our cruises. We're not an influencer couple.
We're not sponsored.
No, not yet. Who knows? Maybe into my retirement. But for now, we're paying, for our cruises and all the excursions. We tip well as much as we can. That's a perspective that I really think gets lost sometimes on the videos, is we want to make sure that it's an honest review for you, and from people that just, enjoy cruising, and we're not tied down to one brand. We cruise a lot of different cruise lines. The Voyager, package seems to be the best for us because we get a discount. We get some casino comps. We've never taken one of our free cruises that we've earned, which is interesting. We've always paid for our cruises. I don't know why, but it just hasn't felt like it was the right timing. But I think that, we give our perspective for how we see it. And the Cruise Cabana is just a place for us to come back, regroup, figure out if we do that cruise again. There are a couple of cruise lines that we may not go back to unless they change some things drastically. But that's because there's so many choices now in cruise lines.
Yeah, cruising has become so popular that, you have many options available that, you didn't so much in the past. So you can kind of rate your own ticket, and it's really up to you. And you just gravitate towards what you value personally most in a cruise. And that's going to be different for everybody, just to some extent, larger families, smaller families. We happen to be a particular kind of cruiser, dual income, no kids. So, we're a little bit older, so hopefully a little bit wiser. And so that's a particular type of cruiser. We're still working, we're not retired yet. So that's kind of where we fit. That said, we've dabbled in almost all the different brands. We haven't shied away of any particular cruise line because of kids or because of families, or we're kids at heart. We also appreciate the finer things in life, elegant fine dining. So that's kind of where we fit, but we like to think that we kind of float between the lines.
Mm-hmm. And I notice a lot of my family, my coworkers, they come to us to get advice when they're booking a cruise. So they'll come to us and say, I was looking at this new Princess ship, or what about these new Celebrity Edge class ships? What do you think? What are your thoughts of the new Infinity verandas? And it's interesting because they may use a travel agent. A couple of them had travel agents that they've had just, for their vacation planning in the past. And we know more than the travel agents. We know how to get them a better deal. We know how to get them some onboard credit, as well as discounts on online dining, and locations of cabins, just from our own research and our own experiences. It's interesting that for those travel agents that haven't been on a certain cruise line, they don't necessarily know the ins and outs, like someone that is actively cruising.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Which was kind of the inspiration for this channel, because people were soliciting our advice so much that we kind of thought, all right, well, maybe this is of value to other people as well. You know, maybe other people want to know some of these tricks and things. You know, after you've booked, you know, 24 cruises, you know, you sort of get a feel for what those tricks are and ways that you can, what the loopholes are, and you know, we're looking forward to sharing some of that with you. That's more her department. Personally, she's the brains of the operation, but you know, we didn't want to just kind of give you an overall perspective and start with an inaugural video to kind of explain who we are, what value that we bring to the internets, the tubes, the virtual world out there. You know, just by way of, you know, having you make a better informed choice about what you're watching, and hopefully we have some ideas of how to make that a little bit entertaining and hopefully not so stale.
We'd love to see you back at the Cruise Cabana. Come on in, pull up a hammock, and let's chat.